mother, it's time for another episode of Birds with Friends. Just the
Duo.
Of feathery brethren, weathering any season to see the Eagles eating teams like Scrammy's top with cheese. It's Philadelphia. Both and Zach kicking it cooler than
Two.
Penguin still. Zach runs off with his valet keys. He's a real nuanced goose. Pull up a branch, get loose. It's time for some juice on some
Birds with Friends.
The early bird gets the worm, but prefers getting turned like a turn on some
Birds with Friends.
Both and Zach coming at you with stats and things flapping their wings on.
How do you have time to consume all this content? You're listening to Dave Spadaro interviews?
I take a morning bike ride and I listen to
I want to hear more about that, but go ahead.
No, the Schuylkill Trail.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Birds with Friends on a Sunday afternoon, a pregame Birds with Friends, a rare Birds with Friends in the pregame sense. Bo Wulf, Zach Berman, no Marissa Dunn for this episode. Bo Wulf producing the live stream could mean trouble. There could be a lot of mishaps here as we come.
I have
up.
confidence
Zach,
in you.
How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm excited for this pod. I will admit, I don't think I'm speaking out of turn to say that it would be nice if we were in Cleveland for this, right?
But Birds with Friends is represented. Marissa
That's
is
what I was
in the
about to say.
stands to watch this game. She will let us know. She's our eyes on the ground.
That's what I was about to say. So we have Marissa there. We have Zach Jackson, our Browns reporters in the building there too. So we will have anything we need from the scene, but it would be disingenuous for me to suggest that I'm happy. And so I'm happy watching the game. No,
disingenuous for you to say that you're happy.
No, happy watching the game at home. I was about to add in there. If you see me turning to my right, which you'll see me do quite a bit, particularly starting at 1:00, it's not because I'm not looking you in the eyes when we speak. It's because the television is to my right here. So I will I'll be doing that. And for our audio listeners, when this goes up, you have to know a lot of this will be reacting in real time. So it might not be as structured as your favorite Birds with Friends episode.
We're going to take this bad boy through the end of the first quarter. Now, we expect that we are not going to see the starters, or at least like the premier starters in any capacity in this game. It's also very bad weather in Cleveland, a bit of a downpour. So all the more reason that we're not going to see those guys. So maybe we'll put in some takes. Maybe we'll do a little play-by-play and get stretch those muscles. But we still got lots to talk about. And Zach,
play-by-play. I didn't know that was on the script.
Well, what else are we going to do? I don't know. We can take turns. Maybe on offense, one of us is play-by-play, the other is color, and then we flip-flop on defense. I
like that. You're always good for segment ideas.
It's not. I mean, in terms of original segment ideas, like calling a game is pretty low on the originality scale.
That's time-tested.
Now I'm going to have to think of a bird pun for play-by-play.
I see John Clark there with the rain behind him. So it is.
I don't think we need play-by-play of the pregame show.
Okay.
I save that for when the actual game starts.
Fair enough.
How was your week? How was your flight? How was your day off yesterday? What do you got going on?
My week, it was nice spending time with you, and it was great seeing Marissa in person. I hadn't
Marissa's legs.
I hadn't seen. We don't have to make that a hashtag. I hadn't seen Marissa since the wedding, and so it was nice. It was nice seeing Shio as well. Shio was in town on his camp tour, and then from a professional,
he kept having to reintroduce himself to me.
From a professional perspective, I particularly enjoyed the practices. I found them to be a good gauge of where the team is. I found them to be more substantive than a typical practice. They really spend a lot of time with the first teamers and the second teamers, right? So you're seeing the top guys and you're seeing the top guys against top guys. And then I also liked, we split it up. So I got to see the offense in earnest one day, the defense in earnest the next day. Some other practices you were
Ernest goes to camp.
Yeah. So you're watching all 22 guys on the field typically, right? Because they're all Eagles and they all matter in our scope. But when you're just watching that, you can kind of clue in or focus in on a particular player or particular thing on that play. So enjoyed that, and learned a bit about the Eagles during the time away.
What did you learn about them during the time away? Oh, you mean their time away from Philadelphia?
Yes.
Okay.
What about you? How was your week? And how was your day off?
It was good. Got some stuff done around the house. Had some people over for a little play date yesterday and little
Nice.
grill. I went to the farmer's market this morning. Pretty typical family weekend.
There you go. I had the kids yesterday, and
You birthed them?
No, we went to the Crayola experience in Easton.
Oh, I don't know it.
Yeah, so it was a fun day with them, and I had a real good
I
time.
got to figure out my angle here.
I think it's a
Did you
great
say
angle.
Crayola?
Crayola, is that what I should say?
I think so.
Is that my accent
We're
or am I
working on
just
pronunciations, I don't know.
mispronunciation? Yeah. A Crayola.
Okay.
Learned a lot about crowns. Did a lot of coloring. Did I say it incorrectly?
Crowns?
Crayon. We're 8 minutes in and we're already dissecting my pronunciation. Say the word that you color with. Yeah. Okay. I guess I call them crowns. Like crayons.
Like if you have successfully predicted the 53-man roster better than every other beat writer for 3 years in a row, you wear a crown.
Yeah. So if you want to kind of congratulate yourself on a podcast, you wear a crown. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I see in the thing, people said it's Philly, yo. So perhaps that's a Philadelphia accent. If you can chime in here, because I have the chat on the side. Am I pronouncing it oddly, or is this the way it's pronounced?
You're not the first person I've heard say that. It's
okay.
It's a thing, but it's inaccurate.
Okay. Yes, but it's. I'm sorry. I saw a story that I found interesting on the TV. There.
Was it another Phillies trade? I mean, are you gonna be paying attention to this podcast or not?
Well, the whole point of this podcast is to watch it in conjunction with the game.
Yeah, but the game doesn't start for 20 minutes. Let's have some attention for now.
There's a pregame show on, and they were teasing a segment on Devontae Smith's inspiration.
You're a stupid segment.
On Devontae Smith's on his inspiration. So so I see it's very much an accent, ZB, very Philly. Not the first person.
And then Charles says nobody in Philly says crowns. So I mean, let's present both sides here. We are the New York Times.
Sorry, I did not see that there. Okay, so all right. Anyways, that's how I spent. That's how I spent my day. My wife was out during the day and last night, and so tuned into some preseason football. Watched that Titans Bucks game. Enjoyed that.
I saw your tweet.
Yeah, and it's really because I had to kind of catch myself, right? I could see why fans and even like a reporter who jumps in somewhere one time has like a sweeping evaluation off of a preseason game. I had not seen Rashad Weaver all summer, and every time I'm looking up, Rashad Weaver's making a play in that game, right? And so it was hyperbole for me. If you did not see my tweet, it was a joke that I said when it comes to the Eagles, when it comes to the team I cover, I downplay the preseason. I say not to deduce anything or much from a few snaps, look at the whole body of work, and then I watch 20 minutes of the Titans Bucks game, and I come away thinking who the second best pass rusher is in the NFL behind Rashad Weaver. And that's kind of like it was tongue in cheek, but I was like, man, this guy is really good.
I feel like we don't get a lot of afternoon preseason games with the Eagles. I feel like
this is only the second one since my time on the beat.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, the first one was
it's off-putting.
Eagles Colts. I believe it was 2013. We can look that up. But anyways, Chip Kelly it was home, and Chip Kelly had explained, maybe it was 2014. I think it was 14 because I think Trent Cole was in Indianapolis then. And Chip had explained that they play at 1 o'clock, so they should have preseason games at 1 o'clock. But that was the only time they had ever done it. 2015. Okay, thank you, Robert. And I knew it was during the Chip era. That was the only time that I can recall it. It is odd, but again, I kind of like it better. Why does a preseason game need to be like your primetime evening activity, particularly when it's on a weekend? I mean, at 1:00 on a Thursday wouldn't make sense. People are at work, but
the Eagles usually are sticking to those Thursdays.
yes, and I
They
actually
pushed
like
around
that.
by the league a little bit. Yeah,
Yes.
you get it in early. You want to
Yes,
have more time between the end of the preseason.
yes.
Okay. All right, Zach. Well, we didn't have a post joint practice podcast on Friday, so let's sort of go through the things that we saw there in relative briefness. You focused on the Eagles' offense after watching the defense on Thursday. What were the main things that jumped out to you?
Well, one quick thing before that, there's also 3,400 words right now on that practice that you can find on The Athletic. So assuming you are a subscriber, and if you're not a subscriber, click on that. It's $1 a month. You can find it as a promotion for the first, I believe, 6 months. So check that out because you can find joint up practice observations. And I say this, I know it's becoming a running joke, but it's true. Bo, he's giving people their money's worth with the way he observes practice. It's true. So what did I take from the offense in that session? AJ Brown had an outstanding catch. Like it was, and I think the Eagles have since put the video on social media. You hear the term mossed. It's the verb now, like Randy Moss.
Mouse.
And that was very much the case, right?
Klaus, Flaus. I'll catch you be running like Randy Mouse.
I don't think Greedy Williams' coverage was bad. I thought that he was there, and AJ Brown just went up and got it, right? Did a really good job there. I didn't think Jalen had like an amazing practice. Jalen Hurts, that is. I didn't think he had a bad practice. I give him credit because he finished drives, right? It was a red zone heavy day, and so you need to finish drives in the end zone, right? He finished drives and he didn't turn the ball over, and that's a good place to start right there. So give him credit there. Dallas Goedert really looked good. Goddard, a lot of attention's gone to the wide receivers, but man, Goddard is just such a solid tight end in everything you want to do there. So I give and I thought the offensive line played well. I've talked about the challenge in evaluating running plays in practice, but one thing you can see is if a run is not like stuffed behind the line of scrimmage, and that's not the case. And then Jalen had time in the pocket, sometimes too much time, frankly, but he had time in the pocket. I thought the offensive line played well. I wrote in our practice report that you would shun me for not watching the O-line, D-line one-on-ones, and I missed something that would have been good to watch, which was Myles Garrett, who did not participate in team drills, participated in one-on-ones. He was out there against Jordan Mailata, and Jordan said they went 1-for-1. And the Browns posted the rep that Myles Garrett won. I actually thought when I watched that rep on video, Jordan recovered decently, right? Like Myles wanted at the jump, but that was really helpful. Jordan said to go up against Myles Garrett, who in my opinion is the best pass rusher in the NFL.
Like you hate TJ Watt.
I don't hate TJ Watt. I just think Myles Garrett's better.
You hate him.
And I don't hate him.
I'm just saying. I mean, he's been the most productive pass rusher in the league for like 3 years in a row. You don't think you're calling him not the best? You're taking shots.
I'm not taking shots at all. I just think Myles Garrett is the best.
I mean, maybe it's the white guy thing.
Myles Garrett had 16 sacks last season, right?
That's basically Josh Sweat level.
That's not Josh Sweat level. He's had 13.5, 18 in 2018, 10 sacks in 2019 in 10 games, 12 sacks in 2020 in 14 games, 16 sacks last year in 17 games. You're basically getting a sack per game.
Okay. Well,
I know
TJ Watt had 22.5 sacks last year.
Yeah, TJ Watt's, but I'm saying it's not like a controversial take to think Myles Garrett is the best.
You're saying it definitively that he's the best pass rusher. I'm just saying.
I'm saying
not so sure I agree.
I literally said in my opinion. Okay, yeah, definitively, I can definitively say that my opinion is that Myles Garrett is the best pass rusher in the NFL. That doesn't mean he is the best pass rusher in the NFL. When you say you're the king of the beats, Is that like a definitive? You're the king of all beats. Or
Well,
is
yeah,
that
that is a thing that has been proven. That is a results based thing.
based on projecting a 53-man roster?
3 years in a row.
Okay, you're the king of the roster projections, not the beats.
I mean, it's pretty much the same thing.
All right,
Everybody's
there you
writing
go.
stories. The real question that you separate the wheat from the chaff by finding out who's paying the most attention, who's thinking through Howie Roseman's decision-making process the best.
So based on that logic, you and Jalen, you were in lockstep with the Jalen Rager pick, right?
No, it's not. The
anyways,
question's not about.
Yeah, back to the defense. I want to hear the defense.
Okay. Two players had big days on Friday in my eyes. Two players on different levels. One who is like a key part of the team and I think changes the relative upside of their season, and another player who's fighting for a roster spot. The latter was Kayvon Wallace, who really flashed, and this was a classic Zach Berman situation where I found myself writing 42 down a lot on Friday. He was around the ball a lot, way more than he has been in the past. And I don't know if this is like confirmation bias, but in my mind, it feels like each of the past 2 seasons, Kayvon Wallace has done something similar, where he has started relatively slow and then like had some flashes as training camp has gone on and looked like he's really coming on. And then both times he like suffered an injury. So knock on wood, an injury doesn't come this time. But that safety picture, speaking of the 53-man roster projection, is going to be a place where there are some differences, and I think it's an interesting picture. We can talk about that as we get to.
I was going to ask that because I have my 53 going into the game up here right now.
Oh, you got one locked in.
Well, no, going into the game. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's finish going through the practice,
practice,
and then
yep.
before the game starts, we'll go through your 53. So that was good to see from Kayvon Wallace. Heading into last week, I would have had him off the team. I'm not so sure that would be the case right now. But he's got a stack of days like Jalen Rager has. The other one was Fletcher Cox. Fletcher Cox had a great day. He had 4 tackles for loss by my count, and was like really into the practice, was talking a lot of smack, both about his own performance, and then he was good about when the Browns had those 3 false starts in a row in team periods at the end with the first team offense. He was making some good quips. But I think I wrote this in this story. I've said that I think cornerback has the biggest variance in terms of performance of any position group on the team this year, because like Slay and Bradbury could be awesome, but they're also the one position where like the starters are a little bit older and the depth is really unproven. And if something happens to Slay or Bradbury, or they take something of a step back, that's not as good as we think it is. I think Fletcher Cox is like the player who maybe raises the ceiling of the defense more than anybody, because like if Fletcher Cox is what he was last year, that's fine. He's still going to be part of a very good group of interior defensive linemen with Jordan Davis and Javon Hargrave and Milton Williams. Probably, I mean, I don't know definitively like you do with Myles Garrett, but I would say my supposition is that that's the best like top 4 interior linemen in the league. I would be hard pressed to believe that somebody could have a deeper group of guys like that. But if Fletcher Cox is 2018 Fletcher Cox, then all of a sudden things really open up. Now, he has not played like that most of camp. He has been fine. He's been good. But, if he's able to hit that level even in, 5 games or something, that's like game-breaking stuff that really changes what they can do.
I heard Josh Sweat flashed a bit in that practice as well.
He did, yeah. But the expected level. I mean, Josh Sweat's a very good player. I give you credit. He's had a very good camp. Now some of those were like he's unblocked and he's running in and breaking up a play. So let's not give him too much credit. There were several times where the Browns like just left a guy unblocked running after the quarterback. But he also had a big sack in team drills and looked the part.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything else from practice? I lost my wallet.
Yeah. So I'm first off, I'm sorry to to hear this. The entire sequence there, Elliot. I hope I'm not speaking out of turn here. Elliot said, as we're in security, "Oh, you're gonna bring this up on the pod, right?" And I said, if it was inverse, Bo would lead the pod with it. But I said, I mean, this was like, I genuinely felt bad for you. This was not
could
like
have been much worse. It was not that bad. Now I was fortunate because, so I carry a money clip. I think this is a long-standing Birds with Friends conversation in the early days with Sheila and I. I transitioned from the wallet to the money clip. One of the problems with the money clip was wearing like some shorts that have sort of slick side pockets. I should have put it in the back. I didn't. Sitting in the stands, which usually practice is a standing up situation,
especially with Andy Reid. But on this, on the defensive side, the only way to really see what was going on was to get up in the stands. And my guess is that it slipped out then, and I had no idea. Didn't realize until we got to drop off the rental car. Could have been a disaster because I lost my my driver's license, which would have meant how you're going to get on the plane. Yes.
Fortunately, I was saved by my own procrastination because my driver's license is expired. Which
befuddles me. Yes.
Well, who knows what their driver's license expiration date is? So I have the piece of paper that says I have a current driver's license, but I haven't replaced the photo license yet. So I can drive fine.
Yes.
And legally, but because of that, I brought my passport with me for the flight. And so I still had my passport. So all good there. And I didn't lose a brand new license. So really I sort of come out on top here because I didn't lose. I don't have to go to the DMV twice. I still only have to make one trip. So props to me for that.
I don't think you came out on top having to
and then
replace the credit cards.
I canceled the credit card and then debit card.
And then whatever cash you had in there. Yeah.
Yeah. So. I lose. I think I had 40 bones in there. So that'll be a nice gift for somebody.
Okay. Although someone could send you, like you could find that.
It's possible.
While coming
find
in
a
the
good
mail.
Samaritan. Yeah, I mean that's what I would do, right? But I mean, who knows? So the replacement of the cards, that's easy business, no big deal. Plus, you got the Apple Wallet, so even with the canceled card, you can still pay with that. The AAA card, I feel like I'm gonna have to probably do a little bit more efforting to get that one replaced. But otherwise, I feel
actually
pretty good.
The AAA card, you
worse.
can just. AAA card, just use the app, right? You're good there. Yeah.
I haven't dove into the AAA app.
Yeah, so you might as well just do that. No, I felt I felt badly for you, because
I didn't feel that badly for myself. It really was fine. You and Elliot were nice to be empathizing, but it really wasn't a big deal. It would have been if I didn't have the passport. So it turned out all right.
Yeah.
I then as you know. Because I was a little bit flustered by that, forgot to give the rental car keys back. So whole situation. Listen, it's preseason for the Beats too, and so then I had to wait. I realized that when we got to security, and so then I went back to the rental car shuttle, and the rental car shuttle driver was nice enough to take my keys back for me.
There you go. Yeah, that's. But the funny thing is that the rental car driver, when we were in the shuttle together, this is a very earnest driver and asked everybody multiple times, do you have your wallet and did you leave the keys?
It was over too. And he kept saying it. He kept saying it.
Yes.
And we were laughing because it was like he was rubbing it in on the wallet front.
Yes.
And it didn't even occur to me because I had originally left the keys on the seat. And then I think when I was going back to look for the wallet, I was rummaging around and put the keys back. I don't know why I did that. But
you see, the worst part of it, well, not the worst thing, but I was afraid that you left your home keys there and brought your car keys, which would have been like
that would have been real.
The ultimate trifecta right there. Yeah. Exactly.
That would have been tough.
Yes. But no, glad you got that settled and you were in good spirits when you got back to the gate. So it was
I got my Cleveland magnet for Casey. All good.
Yeah. So my solution, I think I've talked about this in the first year of the pod, is I have my phone case has a credit card credit card holder in the back. Nice. Now the downside is I never have cash. And when we're on trips, I'll keep like small bills in my backpack so like I could leave tips at the hotel and whatnot, right? But otherwise, I've gone cashless ever since I've done this.
Okay, that's good. I mean, I'll have to get a new money clip. That'll cost
Yeah.
a little bit, but not. I mean, that's pretty cheap.
Would you consider the case? Because actually, I find this interesting. You don't go iPhone case at all,
Yeah, I know it's naked. It's
which is very
It feels
bold.
so good. It's so slick.
It's
You know, it's nice and raw, but it's probably not the smartest thing to do.
It's an interesting word to use to describe it. Yeah, I mean it's probably lighter, thinner, right? It's not taking up a lot of space in your pocket, but
Yeah,
aren't you afraid of mishandling that or scratching it?
Yeah, it's
If
got a
you
little.
drop it,
It's
if
a
you
little
drop it,
scratch.
you're done.
I've dropped it,
And
it's
really?
fine. It doesn't crack. It's a little scratchy,
Okay.
but
Okay.
yeah, I mean the thing is like so clunky.
You get used to it though, right? And the key too, like the key for me is the efficiency of having it as the wallet, and B, just the it's easier to hold it, right?
Yeah,
And then
that's probably fair.
yeah,
But there's still like, I mean, how many cards deep are you going?
I'll go driver's license and
Driver's
then
license, credit card,
and then
debit card.
then I'll go to credit card. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, credit card, debit card.
that's not bad.
Yep.
Okay, good advice. I'll think about it.
Okay.
All right, let's go. Let's talk through your roster.
Yeah. So
And you tell me where the toughest things are. So quarterback, did you keep 2 or 3?
I kept 2, and that seems to be kind of a differentiator for me relative to just about every other beat writer I've seen so far, who's putting out the 53 has 3 quarterbacks. In my opinion, don't keep a third quarterback on your 53 unless he's someone who you have like earnest plans of developing going forward. And Reed Sinet, he's fine, but if someone else signed him, are you all of a sudden saying like we just lost our future backup quarterback? I don't know if you're saying that. If he gets through to practice squad, you bring him on practice squad. Maybe someone tries to sign him during the season, and you can elevate him if he gets some flexibility. But I don't think Reed Sinet rises to the level of we need to keep this guy. Okay. And I never have a problem with the team keeping 2 quarterbacks. That's what the Eagles did for, early on in the Doug era. That's what they were doing.
I think if they kept Reed Sinet, it would not be because of Reed Sinet. It would be because they want 3 quarterbacks. I think that's right.
Yes.
Now he has certainly, mossed Carson Strong in this. Carson Strong didn't take any reps basically, or hasn't over the past week. He'll play today, I would imagine. But this is like, if you really want to get into the nitty gritty, like how Reed Sinet performs over the next 2 games probably decides whether he gets a roster spot, and he'll be one of the players to watch. I think that'll be interesting. One thing occurred to me, Zach, and we had the Jimmy G conversation the other day. Howie, is that? Do you think that's crazy
For the Eagles?
if he gets released? Nobody trades for him, and maybe Gardner Minshew has not had a great summer. Maybe you flip him for a 6th round pick. You bring in Jimmy G. Like you have a presumably a better backup quarterback. Maybe you don't want to put that on Jalen, but he's proven that stuff doesn't rankle him, right? I don't know. I think that's the kind of thing that I could see Howie doing.
It would surprise me if they still had Minshew. Now, I got asked the other day by Zach Jackson. We did an email exchange leading up to it, and he asked if the Eagles would trade Gardner Minshew, and I said I never say never with Howie, right? He once traded a starting quarterback the week before the season began, and
you never got that piece out.
I got a different version of it out before the Vikings game. But yeah, so I said I can't see him trading for Minshew. I'm sorry, I can't see him trading Minshew unless he has a trick up his sleeve at backup quarterback. They're not gonna go into the season with Reed Sinet as their backup quarterback, right? They're gonna want a better option there as the number 2. So yeah, if there's interest in Gardner Minshew that they can get any type of like draft pick compensation for him here, you had him for a year, you want a game with him, you're getting something for him now. If you do that and you can get Jimmy G, who is a really intriguing. I mean, when he's healthy, he's a really like he's beyond solid. I mean, he's started in the Super Bowl. He's been to the playoffs every year that he's been healthy. He's a good quarterback in that sense. So yeah, I wouldn't roll it out
to not release him, but
I don't think San Francisco wants to release him.
I don't think they do either. But if he was that good, somebody would trade for him.
What's the salary? That's the complication.
Okay.
So I do think someone's going to trade for him.
Yeah, and I think it's probably unlikely that the Eagles are the team that most would want him. I just think, you and I have been around Howie long enough to know that he's like every name player he's considering. And so it would not shock me once it occurred to me the other day.
I have a quick Howie take here. That I have a running list in my Google Docs of like thoughts, thoughts about the team that I would like to turn into a piece. And I've heard from multiple reporters, like when they're talking about Kayvon Wallace or Jalen Reagor or Andre Dillard, well, Howie, he'll never cut his draft picks. And I've actually found Howie to be better than most other GMs in like owning up to a mistake and cutting his losses. I mean, there are GMs who don't do that. If you think about some of the biggest underachieving draft picks during Howie's time here, Howie's been he cut Jaquan Jarrett after a season. He cut Danny Watkins after 2 seasons. Marcus Smith after 3 seasons, right? With still time left on that deal. I can keep going down the list. Like Howie's willing to cut losses. I don't think Howie lets past mistakes compound in the future ones. And so this notion that this guy's going to be on the team because he was a Howie draft pick, that I don't buy that whatsoever. And I think that's one of these accepted takes that is not rooted in practicality. Now there are 2 variables here. If the contract definitely comes into play, right? Like they're not going to eat money to keep someone who's maybe marginally better. And then the other thing is if things are equal, you keep the draft pick because theoretically he has more upside, right? You think maybe there's untapped potential there, but I don't believe Howie keeps players just because they're his draft picks. In years
if
2, 3,
if I
4,
play
5.
devil's advocate, I'm not sure that I like. He's been around so long that of course he's had to cut draft picks. Like he wasn't going to keep, and some of those were obvious decisions. Like
how about Clayton Thorson?
I think it was a surprise. Yeah, I think he is willing to accept it. I think you're right that he's not like all the way towards the extreme. It's just if you're comparing him to other GMs, it's hard to really know because a lot of them don't have the same length of track record. And I think there are examples of him holding on to guys too long. Like, I don't think Howie is the reason that JJ Arcega-Whiteside made the roster last year, right? Like It was year 3. He probably wasn't good enough to be on a 53-man roster, but he did. But, Sirianni loved him and they didn't have a great in-house option. I think you're right that I think Howie is pretty trustworthy in terms of calling it like he sees it on those bubble guys. I think you're mostly right.
And I'll say when I covered the Giants, Jerry Reese was the opposite. And he was like outspoken about it. He had an expression, you need to let talent fail. Right. And so he would hold on to these draft picks, especially high ones, like hoping that it clicks at some point.
Josiah Scott, Gardner Minshew, and I could not see the third person going out as captains.
Are you ahead of me? Are you ahead of me here?
I don't know.
I just saw AJ Brown's catch on my screen.
Oh, then you're ahead of me because they're now showing clips.
Oh, okay. I'm ahead of you. Okay.
They before that walked out for the coin toss. Before we get to the game, I do want to address one thing, Zach, from the end of practice. from a certain sycophantic portion of the fan base, I've been getting some heat for asking Jalen Hurts about Deshaun Watson. I'm sorry. I have made some errors in my time. I thought very clearly and very intentionally about that question. I think it's extremely fair that, we're in Cleveland. It's the biggest story in the NFL. The day before, he takes a picture with Deshaun Watson with their joint quarterbacks coach. There have been reports throughout the offseason that Deshaun Watson nixed the idea of a trade to Philadelphia, which the Eagles were interested in because of his friendship with Jalen Hurts. He didn't want to displace Jalen Hurts. So, and I didn't ask, I was very intentional of not asking what Deshaun Watson has been through, because it's not about what Deshaun Watson has been through. It was not a leading question. I said, I prefaced it with as his friend, because that's the reason for asking the question. And then it was open. What's your vantage point of the last 2 years of his life? And I didn't expect an answer from Jalen Hurts. That's his MO.
Yeah.
And I think it was I thought he handled it very well. And he handles those things very well. But the question needed to be asked. I'm sorry if that doesn't make you happy as a Jalen Hurts stan, but tough S. That's the deal.
Yeah, I think it was a fair question, and I think it was a fair answer. Like you said, like Jalen can choose not to get involved in the public discourse on this issue, right? That's his prerogative.
His prerogative, and he handled it very well. Totally.
Yeah. So yeah, but I have no objection with your question, and I think if he's asked for his opinion on far less relevant topics, right? So there's no reason that he should not be asked about that. As we see here, I know sometimes I try changing the subject. I'm not trying to change the subject here. I'm just saying.
You might be a little bit ahead of me. I'll take us through here. Eagles get the ball first. We've got Gardner Minshew on the field. Ooh, Dillard, Anderson, Juergens, Opeta, and Driscoll left to right. Love the shot of the offensive line. Looks like they're opening up in 12 personnel with Dick Rod and Jack Stoll and Jalen Reagor on the field, and it's a big handoff to Boston Scott. Oh, steps out of bounds. Nice run on the first play, Zach.
Yes, I look. This is a continuation of what we've seen throughout the summer with the offensive line. Watch Cam Juergens in particular here get to the outside, follow the blocking there, and you want a better sense of space for Boston Scott there as he turns. He's probably thinking the same thing, but well-designed, well-executed play.
Now, how far ahead of me are you exactly? Let's calibrate this.
I am watching the second play right now.
Okay. And, Boston Scott again.
Yes. Okay. So we're not too far behind. Yeah.
Minshew hits Scott for another first down. A little pass out of the backfield. And running back, did you have any questions in your 53 at running back, Zach?
Just whether I would go 3 or 4. I went 3. I went Sanders, Gainwell, Scott. And I don't think injuries are a major factor here because you have practice squad for early in the season, right? So the question is, it comes down to who is going to return for you. If you think Jason Huntley can be valuable in the return game as well, you keep 4 running backs. I'll get to this in the receiver spot. I really think they're going to give Britton Covey a chance to return. So I have Covey making the team right now. But so I have 6 receivers. But if you made the argument for 4 running backs and 5 receivers, I wouldn't object to that.
I'm not all the way convinced that Britton Covey is making this team.
I'm not convinced either. I'm simply this is an August 21st 53. It was just one of these things as I was preparing for this game and this pod, I sketched it out.
Fourth play of the game is another handoff to Boston Scott. Will be third down in 2 or 3 coming up for the Eagles on the opening drive. Zach, the Covey thing is, for me, he hasn't shown that he's that great of a returner in the pros. He was a very good returner in college. He's, I'm going to bring up the age thing. I mean, he's 25. He's 2 years older than Jalen Reagor.
You're not keeping him for upside. You're keeping him for a 2022 role.
To keep that job. And is it really, is there nobody in the league who's better than him at that? Who's going to shake
Pascal.
loose as Gardner Minshew completes a slant to Zach Pascal on what looked like maybe an RPO for a first down?
No, look, he's probably replacement level, but I'm just thinking who's going to return there. If you want to make that argument for Huntley, there are like 4 or 5.
But Huntley hasn't been a punt returner, so
Exactly.
you need 2 for 1 as a that is.
Well,
like
I'm saying, but
Covey.
if Rager's your kick returner,
Right.
I'm sorry, if Huntley's your kick returner and Rager's your punt returner, right? Because if Rager is on the team and he's active, right?
Chris Watkins, interestingly, took some kickoff return reps at practice on Friday. Speaking of Quez Watkins, he just caught a pass from Gardner Minshew, second and medium coming up.
So as I'm saying here, tight end, I only have them keeping 3, and that's well. Here, I'll loop back to running back. I see this in the chat, and it's an accurate question. Kareem Hunt's available, or I shouldn't say available. Kareem Hunt wants to be traded.
Jalen Reagor.
There's
Another
no
first
word
down.
yet on whether he will be traded. We saw him this week. There was that shot, of course, of Sirianni shaking hands, introducing himself. That was about 5 feet from me when that occurred. Kareem Hunt, and I talked about this with Zach Jackson. You can even do some interesting fake trades because the Browns need wide receivers, right? And a Kareem Hunt for Jalen Reagor deal with maybe a pick thrown in there would make intellectual sense. This is where I kind of call the bluff on it, or shouldn't say call the bluff. This is where I wonder if it's going to happen. I don't think the Eagles are going to give Kareem Hunt a new contract. The reason why Kareem Hunt wants to get traded is because of his contract. My guess is the Eagles go into this offseason with a cleaner slate at running back, and they have a chance to draft. This is going to be a real good running back draft. This is going to be, they can re-sign Miles Sanders if they would like. There's some other intriguing free agents out there. I don't want to speak over the game, but all things being equal, if Kareem Hunt would play on this,
5 coming up in the red zone for the Eagles.
If Kareem Hunt would play on his contract, I absolutely think that's a player that the Eagles would target. He would upgrade the offense. He would make, if you think about areas that they might need, whether it's pass catching, whether it's a power back, Kareem Hunt fills all that in kind of one package. I would not object at all to such a trade. The question I have is whether or not, the contract situation would be settled.
Looks like the Eagles pick it up, running the ball on 3rd and 4 at a shotgun. Boston Scott getting right to the line to gain. Might be a measurement, but it looks like to me they got it. I think the Kareem Hunt thing is interesting. I would say from the scene before practice. Oh, they marked him short, 4th and inches here.
Aggressive Sirianni. Here we go.
And
when he second effort. I think
but,
he got. We'll see. This is going to be an interesting spot.
Is that William Refrigerator Perry at defensive tackle for the Browns?
That is not William Refrigerator Perry at defensive tackle for the Browns. That would be quite the signing for Andrew Berry there.
It looks to me like he got it. I would say of the scene before practice, that was not an accidental introduction where like Nick Sirianni happened to be walking to the field and Kareem Hunt was there. That was like Kareem Hunt's here. Here's the the PR person to shepherd Sirianni to meet him on purpose.
Oh, so you think there was something there?
I don't know if that means that a deal is going to happen. Maybe it means that they have a mutual friend or something, but it was a planned introduction.
I mean, you would know all about the mutual friends there.
I don't know what that means.
It's no reference to anything bad. Do you know who his college coach was? Kareem Hunt's college coach.
Is it one of the Mount Union guys?
Yeah, it was Matt Campbell.
Got it.
So, by the way, when I said that, I felt like it could be an odd dig about his off the field discretions. It was not that. It was because you did a Mount. I just want to explain the joke. You did a story on Nick's time at Mount Union, and Matt Campbell's staff at Toledo was like all Mount Union guys. So that was the joke.
All right, 3rd and goal from the 1 here on the opening drive. 13 plays, 75 yards so far. Gardner Minshew in the shotgun. Jack Stoll goes across in motion. The handoff to Boston Scott jumps in. He's in for the touchdown. An opening score for the Eagles' second game in a row with a touchdown on the first drive.
Yeah, you give them credit. Good play calling, huh? I mean, actually, Steichen didn't really call passing plays much in that first drive last week. Today, you have 10. Yeah, I'm sorry. You have 10 running plays. 10 running plays, 33 yards on that drive. Gardner Minshew, 4 for 4. You need to be impressed with that. A 14-play, 76-yard drive. What jumps out to me there, I always talk about it, third downs, right? 3rd and 3, they convert 15 yards to Pascal. 3rd and 4, they did not convert. That forced them to go for that 4th and 1, 4th and inches. But then 3rd and 1 at the goal line. So if you're converting on third downs, you obviously like seeing that. So
Kareem Hunt, we need to say, you referenced the off the field issues, suspended by the league for violence against women,
cut by the Chiefs,
Chiefs, and that you got to do a lot to be cut by the Chiefs. Let's call that fairly.
Well, I think the if I recall, and I don't want to speak out of turn here, I think the way it might have been characterized to Andy Reid wasn't the way.
Right, he lied to them about what happened. So it's not because of what he did; it's because of how he handled it with the team. Yeah. So I would rather not have him on the team if I was an Eagles fan, or if I was a general manager. Running back's a pretty fungible position. I'd be happy to find someone who has not been found guilty of those things. So that's just where I stand. But Boston Scott got all the reps in that opening drive, Zach. In practice on Friday, Kenny Gainwell was on the field in 2-minute drills with the first team offense. Now no Miles Sanders, obviously, and got chewed out by Nick Sirianni. Pulled off the field for what Sirianni said were 2 mental errors in the 2-minute drill. It has not been a great summer for Kenny Gainwell. Do you read anything into him not being on the field on that drive? And do you worry at all about his roster chances?
Don't worry at all about his roster chances, but certainly worry about the Eagles running back depth chart. Miles Sanders is down with a hamstring injury. My understanding is that the expectation is he's back for week 1. But look, Miles Sanders hasn't proven to be the most durable player in the NFL during his time in Philadelphia. And this is the 2nd August when he's been dealing with a hamstring issue. And I point that out because hamstring issues at that position can sometimes reappear or linger. And I don't think the Eagles have the depth that they need at running back. And even if running back is a fungible position, which I do agree with that characterization, there's a difference between a good running back and a replacement level running back. And I think that they're easy to find, but good ones matter. And I don't know if the Eagles have the necessary depth at that position. I say that Boston Scott, to his credit, has done nothing during his 2 years here except prove that when Miles is down, he can step in and be a solid player for you. So I do like Boston Scott as
Tate Gowan with the kickoff and the tackle and kickoff coverage.
But I think that's a position that they can absolutely address, and that it would. So I would say running back depth wise, tight end depth wise, top of the depth chart at safety are the spots where I can see them adding going into the season.
All right, the Eagles open up on defense in nickel. You've got Josh Coe and Kayvon Wallace at safety. Looks like you got Josh Jobe, Zach McPherson, and Andre Sacheret on the field at corner. Davion Taylor and Nakobe Dean at linebacker. Milton Williams. It said Jordan Davis and Teron Jackson on the graphic, but I see Marlon Tuipulotu on the field. So
I see Jordan Davis on the field. Yeah, I see Jordan Davis on the field.
Yeah, I think that means probably no Teron Jackson on that first, or maybe no Patrick Johnson on that first play. You expect Jordan Davis to play a lot in this game? Brandon Graham is playing in this game. Why? Oh, wait, is he? No, I'm sorry. That was Tuipulotu. He's 95, 55 lining up. He looked a little bit similar from his state.
I think
that would be wild.
I think what's noteworthy is Marlon not playing in the nose here, right? Marlon's playing. Yeah. So, you have Jordan Davis in the nose, Jordan Davis and Marlon playing together. Interesting to see. As a teaser, I obviously have
Good
Jordan
tackle
Davis
by
on my
Josh
53.
Jobe.
I have Marlon on my 53 going into this game as well.
Yeah, I think, I'm going to do the thing, I believe, for Tuesday, Zach, on the players who have had the best summer, like relative to expectation and the stakes involved. So, it's not a ranking of the 83 best players on the team. It's a ranking of, how much they move the needle over the summer. So, Marlon Tuipulotu is not a better player than Fletcher Cox, but he's had a better summer because he's won a roster spot, basically. And I think Tuipulotu is he will be high on that list because I don't think that he was guaranteed of a roster spot coming in to the summer, and he has etched himself onto the roster in stone given his play.
So we received a text just now from our esteemed producer Marissa Morris, and she wants us to read this on air. And she used a word that I won't use on air, effing block. Hell yes. And of course, that's referencing starting center Michael Dunn, 68. He's in there, and got to give credit to Michael Dunn. He's been playing well this summer, and he was playing well this week. And if he wasn't married to our producer, I would still be making that statement. So, if you're watching here, I know you're watching for the players in green, but the person holding the ball right now, number 68. That's
all over the place. He's got Jordan Davis. This is, you talk about like putting something on tape. Everybody's going to be watching the tape on Jordan Davis, who was dominant in week 1 of the preseason. And if he's getting held off by 68, Michael Dunn, let's stock up. Let's cash those checks.
There you go. I agree. Good job by Michael Dunn there. So we kind of got off track with the 53. We'll continue obviously monitoring the defense.
This is 4 minutes left in the period, so we're going quick here.
Yeah. Do we want to go to the live room or do we stick to this?
Well, I bugged Will from The Athletic about it, and he now says he's going to make the live room. So we can still continue the conversation. That can be posted on the podcast thread as well. But we'll also be able to take questions from listeners.
Yes. All right. So then I'll just run through this real quick for you.
Well, save it for the. Oh
yeah. Well,
tease it for the live room.
I like
it's all good. You want to polish off our
play-by-play?
Our play-by-play chops?
If we're in sync, yeah.
Maybe we do well enough that we'll get like the Jaguars preseason game next year.
Ooh, Josh Dobbs, look at that.
Josh Dobbs.
Doesn't take a rocket scientist to run like that.
Okay.
Do you get the joke?
No.
Josh Dobbs is a rocket scientist.
Josh Dobbs is?
Yes. I mean, in terms of like how he was trained in college, yeah.
Did he get it?
He majored in, I believe it was aerospace engineering.
Okay, but he didn't get like a graduate degree, did he?
No, he didn't get a graduate.
You probably need that to be an official rocket scientist.
I know he had a 4.0.
Okay.
It was a big story coming into the draft. And actually, Zach Jackson did a story recently where I think Jacoby
Sachere with the ripped jersey. Love a ripped jersey in the middle of a play.
Yeah. Here. So, fumbled the snap.
Okay,
so you'll be the play-by-play guy. Touchdown. All right, so the next Eagles drive, we will pick up with the play-by-play. Yeah, I like that.
I'll be the play-by-play, you be the color.
Okay.
Gotta let it breathe, Are we doing radio or TV? Different style.
That's a good question. I'll defer to you.
Let's do radio.
Let's do radio.
Since
so in
it's
radio,
a podcast.
you have to be more descriptive.
Yeah, so you got to tell what's going on a little bit more. Okay.
I just lost you there. Yeah. You guys are ready for Monday Night Football. I don't know about that. Pathetic job by Gannon. That's what John J. Patterson says. Man,
you're going to be saying that a lot, my friend.
Because of the players they have on the field, or because of the defense.
They
were there was a picture that circulated yesterday from from Nick Sirianni's day off. He went out to Mount Union. It's about 60-ish miles away from Cleveland in Alliance, Ohio. They were practicing against Washington and Jefferson, which is where Sirianni's brother coached. But then John Clark had a good nugget that the Eagles had their walkthrough yesterday at St. Ignatius, which is Jonathan Gannon's alma mater. So they're hitting all the landmarks there.
Marissa, so we got a text on the old thread with the former member of this podcast who's also there with, or not there, but who's also on the thread with Marissa. He says, what a series by 68. Pancake, trade that man to the Bucs so he can start. He's always trying to give it a national angle. And MD says, I'm literally shaking. He was legit crushing guys. So let's go.
Was Shields' text on the record? Like, what was that allowed to be said on air? Because Marissa, she put on her text, Marissa wrote a text to Bo and me and said, say this on air. I don't think Shield knew that.
He invented you're always on the record. So
even via text?
Is that going to come back to bite him in any way?
I'm just saying. David Miller says, what are they talking about? We were talking about Michael Dunn, who, as you might have heard, is
it's not done until it's done.
Is the wife. Is the husband of our producer, Marissa Morris. And so he's known in a lot of circles as Marissa Morris's husband. But he is the starting center today for the Cleveland Browns.
All right, Zach, back here at Lincoln Financial Field. The Eagles about to take the field. 7-7 ball game here late in the first quarter. Gardner Minshew, perfect on the first drive, as I'm guessing Britton Covey will be back to receive the kickoff. Could be wrong. You like the little guy, don't you?
Britton Covey, of course, is a rookie from Utah, 26 years old, was a productive player with the Utes, and small on the smaller side, relatively speaking, I believe 5'8", 170, 180, but he is somebody who has caught attention in training camp this summer. And if you just look at the way he returned when he was in the Pac-12, there might be something to build off of, Bo.
And Nick Sirianni had a bit of a funny thing to say about Covey the other day, didn't he? He said, Covey had suffered a hand injury after the first preseason game, and he told reporters that it was torn ligaments and he was going to be out some time. And Sirianni said, this guy can do a lot of things. He can catch the ball. He can return the ball. He can even throw the ball, but he's not a doctor. And so he's back on the field.
And he also said he could be a priest or something of that nature. Britton Covey, of course, the grandson of Stephen Covey, who wrote the best-selling book, The 7 Habits of a Highly Successful People, which I know you adhere to in your everyday habits as well, Bo.
Well, and speaking of 7, Zach, we are knotted up at 7-7 as the Eagles get the ball after that touchback. 1st and 10 from the 25. Minshew in shotgun. He's got 5 wide here. Well, 4 wide receivers and a tight end as he takes the snap, looks to his left, fires a slant to Quez Watkins, who makes a man miss, turns the corner down the sideline. 1st down, Eagles.
What you like on that play was how decisive Gardner Minshew was there. The snap came in, the ball came out, and Quez Watkins, who would be on the top of the field on your radio dial from the top to the bottom, left to right. He was the top of the field. Gardner Minshew flicks it very quickly, and when you have Minshew, that's what the Eagles coaches like about him, is that the quick decisions, gets rid of the ball quickly and decisively.
1st down handoff or fake handoff from Minshew. Pass is batted down at the line as he pulls the handoff, tries to fire a slant, knocked down, but there's a flag on the play.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what this flag is here. And of course, if you remember on the first drive, Shane Steichen called 10 running plays. It was a departure from the first preseason game when they were pass heavy. I'm curious to see what that distribution is going to be for the Eagles this season.
We do have Kenny Gainwell on the field in the second drive. We talked about Boston Scott. Nick Sirianni not happy with the call. Too many men on the field? Oh, illegal man downfield. Oh, and this is something that came back to bite the Eagles many times last year. Sirianni saying impossible to the ref, but rugged Ronnie Torbert not having any of it.
If you recall, Sirianni stopped calling a play that actually kept points off the board on a few occasions last year because they had an illegal man downfield. And for our radio listeners, you can't see this, but Sirianni cleanly shaven today. He has gone with the bearded look this week, but shaved for game day.
Okay, and on 1st and 15, Minshew settles for a check down to Deion Kane, who has had a good summer. Zach, Sirianni, you mentioned what he's got going on up top. What about downstairs? Is he wearing pants?
Nick Sirianni is wearing pants. So, yes, I can confirm that for our listeners.
All right. 2nd and 9 coming up for the Eagles. Minshew has Gainwell to his left, 3 wide. Hands off to Gainwell, who bursts through the middle of the line for a first down. A big run for Gainwell, who was looking to move his way up the depth chart and be the number 2 running back behind Miles Sanders.
Kenny Gainwell, who as a rookie for the Eagles last year, led the running backs in touchdowns, known more for his pass catching. The Eagles want to see him running the ball and missed some time with a hip injury earlier this summer. Back now, I imagine we'll see a heavy dose of Gainwell considering the depth chart that they have at the position.
1st and 10 from the 48. Gainwell gets the handoff following a pulling Sua Opeta, but it is a meager gain of about 2 yards, and there's another flag on the play with 1:51 left in the first quarter.
One might say he did not gain well.
You're good. You're good, Zach. You're funny. I like you. And that's a hold on the Eagles, Torbert says, so that'll set up 1st and 20. And the hold is on the man in Philadelphia they call Dick Rod, 81, the veteran tight end.
Richard Rodgers, of course, I believe he's in his 5th season with the Eagles, started his career in Green Bay, known more for those Packers days. But now I would need to say, given his longevity in the Eagles locker room, 147 career catches, 15 touchdowns, 1,500 receiving yards, known more, I would say, for his time with the Eagles.
All right, 1st and 20. Minshew takes the shotgun snap and throws for, I believe, Zach Pascal. Goes through his hands, but another flag on the play. Bit of a sloppy drive on both sides here, I would say, Zach.
I would agree, especially compared to the first drive for both teams. And you saw Zach Pascal there. Zach Pascal, big addition for the Eagles this offseason, has a history with Nick Sirianni, but something I want to highlight for our listeners who don't get a chance to see him before the game. Every game, Zach Pascal throws the ball with fans in the stands before the game. It's called Pascal's Passes, and it dates back to his time as a teenager growing up in the Maryland area. He went to see a game between the New York Giants and the Washington now Commanders, and Victor Cruz was doing that with fans, and it always resonated with him, and he wanted to do the same when he was in the NFL.
1:38 left in the first quarter. 1st and 10 for the Eagles. Ball game is tied at 7. Minshew under center now in 12 personnel. Fakes the handoff, drops back, throws to his right, and it is short of Jalen Reagor. That ball sort of died in the air. Didn't quite have the arm strength to get it to the outside numbers.
Jalen Reagor is somebody who is vexing for Eagles fans. I think we've seen one of the better camps he's had in his 3 years here, showing the electricity that they need, but you want to see it translate to production. I thought he got open on that play, broke right, and the ball was a little underthrown. Gardner Minshew, not known for his arm strength, known more for his accuracy, neither was apparent on that play.
2nd down now, Minshew in shotgun. Gainwell to his right, fakes the handoff. He gives the handoff, actually. Gainwell, and this is going to be a loss of 3 yards. The Browns' defensive line and linebackers swarming. We're not fooled by that play.
After we hyped up the way that offensive line played on the first drive, not seeing the same from this drive. And they have some notable players on this line. This is the Eagles invest in depth on their offensive line. There are players who are backups who could start elsewhere, whether it's Cam Jurgens at center, Andre Dillard at left tackle among them.
3rd and 13 now for the Eagles as the clock clicks down to about 52 seconds. The snap to Minshew, hands off, the coward's draw, except it's not a coward's draw. It's a straight handoff to Gainwell, and he picks up the first down. A long run for Gainwell keeps the drive moving.
You called that a coward's draw. I called that a good play.
Okay, so you're a coward?
No, I believe in getting first downs. I think they read the coverage well there. You saw Richard
And a really
LeCount, I
nice
believe,
move
number.
in the middle. That play is made because Gainwell makes the safety LeCount miss with a nice little wiggle, little juke, and that makes the play happen. 1st and 10 now. Another handoff to Gainwell, and this will be a gain of about 4 yards as he pushes the pile a little bit. And that's probably going to be the end of the first quarter, Zach. But Gainwell showing out after the impressive first drive from Boston Scott.
I agree there, and that's what the Eagles need to see. They lack the necessary depth at running back. Did not get to see Scott nor Gainwell in the first game, so seeing more from them today.
All right, and that's the end of the first quarter. 7-7 with the Eagles driving in the red zone. We'll be back on Birds with Friends Network here on 98.6.
on the Athletic.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
All right, Zach, that was fun. I kind of want to keep doing it, but we got the live room to do now.
Yeah, that was fun. Unless we say we'll go over to the live room after the first after this drive
why don't
ends.
we finish the drive?
Okay,
let's finish
let's
the drive. Why not?
Let's finish the drive in, and I will also say that for those who aren't familiar with
I
the
like that
live
from
room,
Polar Jam. 98.6 The Bird.
If you go into the Athletic app, the great thing about the live room, think of it as almost like your sports talk radio in the Athletic app, because you can be part of the broadcast in that you can call us. We'll take your calls. We'll hear your opinions. You can ask us anything you want to ask, and it'll be a good way to engage and watch the game at the same time.
What did you do for your 53 offensive line, Zach?
So my 53 offensive line, I went 9. I went Jordan Mailata, Landon Dickerson, Jason Kelsey, Isaac Seumalo, Lane Johnson, Cam Jurgens, Andre Dillard, Sua Opeta, and Jack Driscoll. So not in there is Jack Anderson. And I was considering going 10. I wondered if Jack Anderson's the way to go there, if they need that extra body there. I was having debates on offensive line, Jack Anderson. I'll say defensive line, interior with Marvin Wilson, and the secondary with Josh Jobe. And so you'll see where I went.
Happy birthday to the Eagles' second-round pick, Cam Jurgens, who turns 23 today. Jurgens, of course, in the spotlight as he replaces Jason Kelsey, who is expected to potentially be back for Week 1.
It'll be a fun night with the Cornhuskers on the roster because he's close friends with Jack Stoll. They're looking to live with each other or live near each other this year. And he owns a beef jerky company called Beef Jerky. There was questions on draft night about the pronunciation of his name, whether it's Jurgens or Jurgens.
Ooh.
It is definitively Jurgens.
Now, I don't know how I feel about the broadcast there, broadcasting Cam Jurgens' home address, but that's okay.
Oh, did they?
Well, I guess it's on the label of the shipping for beef jerky, but if you were watching, you now know exactly where Jurgens lives, and I know that that's on your radar, Zach. You like to make those trips.
You're an eagle eye play-by-play guy to notice the address there. And I do like to make those trips.
Second and 6 coming up for the Eagles now from around the 35-yard line. Minshew backing up, and he completes a pass short to Britton Covey for about 4 yards. Number 41, the slot receiver from Utah, who we talked about earlier.
Was the pass short or the receiver short?
Both.
There you go.
But I don't like to say short, Zach. I like to say vertically less.
Challenge? I would say it's all relative, right? One man's short is another man's tall.
There you go. And Gainwell on the handoff to his right picks up the first down. That'll set up the Eagles for about 1st and 10 from the 25. They keep the train rolling with this rushing offense that has been impressive in this game and, of course, was the key to their success down the stretch last year as Minshew takes the shotgun snap, first down, works in the pocket and completes a pass to Jalen Reagor for about 6 yards. Reagor continuing his consistent camp thus far.
And what you're seeing from both Minshew and Reagor there is you're seeing a quarterback who knows where the receiver is. Throughout camp, Jalen Reagor's taken many snaps with Minshew. That's a combination I've seen often this summer, and it's just continuing into the games that I wouldn't say matter, but matter more than practices.
2nd and 3 coming up now for the Eagles as Minshew goes under center. Gainwell behind him, 12 personnel. Hands off to Gainwell, who makes a man miss, cuts up field, and gets the first down. This drive continues as the Eagles work inside the Roman Red Zone.
And what you like to see there is he's running behind the left side. They have Andre Dillard, they have Jack Anderson, they have Cam Jurgens. These are a group of linemen that the Eagles have spent time developing or are spending time developing. Andre Dillard, in particular, in his 4th season with the Eagles, they did not pick up his 5th-year option. He's behind Jordan Mailata, but he's someone who I think is showing he could play in this league.
The Roman Red Zone, when you absolutely, positively want to make sure that you finish. The handoff on first down goes to Kenny Gainwell for about 3 yards. That'll set up 2nd and long for the Eagles. 8 carries for 40 yards on this drive alone for Kenny Gainwell, Zach.
Yeah, we've seen that consistently from Gainwell. Like I said, known more as a pass catcher, showing he can be a factor in the running game. And I would like to know too how many of these plays Gardner Minshew is checking at the line, and how many of them are called or designed runs.
2nd and 8 from the 13. The handoff again to Gainwell, who goes to his right and is tackled by Alex Wright, who actually had a very impressive days of joint practices with the Eagles. That's a gain of 2. That'll set up 3rd and 6 in the red zone for the Eagles.
3rd and 6 here, 3rd down, the money down, like it's called. The Eagles were effective there on the first drive. They need to continue that for a team that might not be relying on huge plays downfield, although they were one of the better teams last year in explosive plays. 3rd down conversions are critical this season. I think A.J. Brown and Dallas Goedert give them good options, reliable options on 3rd downs.
3rd and 5 from the 10. Minshew looks to his left, completes to Deion Kane. Deion Kane, a nice contested catch in coverage on the slant, picks up the first down. Deion Kane, who has had a very good summer, and I don't know if he's going to make this Eagles team, Zach, but he deserves to be playing somewhere.
I wrote the same thing. The roster math might make it difficult, but Deion Kane has answered the bell this year. 6'2", 202, former top recruit. He's 25 years old. He actually broke into the league under Nick Sirianni in Indianapolis when Sirianni was the offensive coordinator. Has 6 career starts, 15 career games. He joined the Eagles last year on the practice squad. Former top player at Clemson, and
Zach,
playing that way this summer.
Tempo so hard that we missed the last play while you were talking. It was a handoff to Gainwell for 2 yards. 2nd and goal from the 2 now, and Gainwell stuffs it in. The Roman Red Zone comes through again, and that's going to make it 13-7. Good guys. Another touchdown drive for the Eagles.
Impressive drive, and the play calling there from Shane Steichen worked as the Eagles would want. Sustaining drives, or getting a chance to see these guys in action. I'll tell you, Bo, impressed with the way the Eagles are starting this game.
And Andre Dillard and Jack Anderson on the left side of the line making the little push to make room for Gainwell. Well, Zach, we're going to send it to break now after the Jake Elliott field, or extra point rather, goes through the uprights. 14-7 Eagles, 2 drives, 2 touchdowns for the Eagles. We will be back with more on 98.6 The Bird. You're listening to Bo Wulf and Zach Berman. All right, that was fun.
I have work to do in that area. You are a natural with play-by-play. I got to give you credit there. Your pacing's good. You identify the play right away. You're a good spotter. You got the yard line. You got the down distance. You know what you're doing.
Maybe the 3rd preseason game, we should just do a full broadcast.
Are we allowed to do that?
We'll put it on our reel. I mean, we're not showing anything.
Okay, yeah. Sure. Why not?
That sounds fun.
Yeah, something fun for the listeners.
Should we prepare for it like a real, like have our notes, have our
oh yeah.
I guess covering the team is the exact same thing, but
no, but there are nuggets you want to get in. You know, I'm just trying to flip.
And you're going to want to get some play-by-play time in too. So.
I don't know, not with you. I like the way it works.
All right, I think we're going to do that next preseason game.
Because we won't be there, so we will be we'll be tuning in from. Yes.
Okay, that'll be fun. Some support in the chat for a full broadcast next week, so let's do that. All right, Zach, we're going to migrate on over to the app and do a live room. So for those of you who are watching live, join us there. We'll go through the end of the second quarter. And
once again, just to let you guys know, you go into the Athletic app and you'll see it on your screen, actually, if you're following the Eagles. Otherwise, there is a listen function.
Give it like 5 minutes. We got to set it up and start it. And then you can come join us.
So make sure to check that out.
And then podcast-wise for the rest of the week, Zach, we'll be back, I guess, Wednesday after the first of 2 joint practices in Miami.
And potentially Thursday. We'll see what the setup is
Oh, yeah.
there.
That's the
we're
next
not
time
racing.
we're going to do it. is
Yes,
Wednesday.
yes. Yeah, but you'll hear us after both of those practices. The Eagles will be practicing earlier in the day there, and we'll be heading to Miami on Tuesday. So looking forward to being down there.
Okay, sounds good. Well, for Marissa and Michael, who's pancaking Davion Taylor all over the place, and Zach, I'm Bo. Thanks for listening. And as always, we love you.